All right, good morning. This is Richie Contardesi coming to you live with another episode of SalesPreneur from beautiful and sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, so I've gotten some feedback on saying Nevada. I guess that's the wrong way to say it, but I say Nevada. I guess it's Nevada. So we'll just go with Nevada. So looking forward to today's episode. Just a quick reminder, I am able to make these videos at home because I am on a maternity leave, and I'm doing this series just because I have the ability to do it, and I'm really excited that I can. If you have any questions, comment below. Just waiting to see if anybody else is going to hop on and join us. Today's episode is really exciting. It is really, really important. I know we didn't have a live yesterday. Some things came up that I had to take care of. I'm going to try to do these as much as I can while I'm still home. But today's episode is how to be more consistent in sales. And I think more importantly than just being consistent in sales, this is about being consistent in your life, being consistent in the things that you do to get better results. This is not just sales. We are going to talk about that in closing sales, but this is in everything that you do. Getting more consistent and better results, predictable results is really the key here, and that's what we're after. So why does this matter? And I think actually before I get into that, I want to state that most goals, especially goals that we set here when we're really pushing ourselves, does not happen overnight. It's about doing it a little bit every day. So what do I mean by that? Consistency is about doing what it is that you need to do to get the results that you want every single day, like every single day. So here's a couple easy examples for you. So you can brush your teeth, right, for 3 hours and then not brush your teeth for the week. Let's just say that's enough time for 1 week. And you're not going to get the same results as if you brush your teeth for a shorter period of time every single day. Obviously, that you're not going to get the same results. And it's the same thing with working out, right? Like if you're working out for 5 hours once a day, right, versus working out over 5 days for 20 minutes or 7 days, 20 minutes a day, you're going to get different results. You're going to get better results. And so that's kind of the baseline of this is it's not something that you just cram in and do in one day. Consistency is about doing and creating the right habits every single day. And even on days off, still trying to do, whatever habits that are going to help you achieve the goals that you want, right? Not saying that you have to work every single day, but just those habits still need to be into effect. So why does this matter? The reason that consistency is so important is because you're able to see what works and then use what works to create make changes, to constantly improve, to constantly grow. Like you can't make the right changes if you don't know what to change. And that's kind of the problem. So what it does is it creates those over time predictable results that you can get, and forming the proper habits so that you're able to consistently see the same results over and over and over. Closing one sale every now and then is not the ideal, right? And the only way to really figure that out is to create processes and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that. So I want to state this before I jump too far into this, is it definitely give yourself 2 years. Like I'm like, people are like, oh, like 1 week, 2 weeks. No, give yourself 2 years to legitimately create the habits, the processes, the systems, to really, really like create a consistent sales process, to create a consistent emails, to create consistent phone scripts. And we'll talk about these in a second on how to do that. But like, a lot of people so underestimate the amount of time that it actually takes. And so to have the right expectations, you've got to give yourself a minimum of 2 years. So how can we be more consistent? Like, how does that work? And when we're talking about sales and closing more sales, it's about having a sales process and a sales system. So what exactly is that? Like, so that we can be consistent, get predictable results, and get the outcome that we want. So what do I mean by that? What I'm referring to is, most of the time you're going to get the same questions. You're going to get the same responses. And what a lot of people do is they come up with on the spot answers. They're always different. They're never consistent. So they don't actually know what works and what doesn't. So it's about having like email templates. Obviously these need to be, I'm just going to use email for example, and then I'm going to go into calls, but having email templates so that every time you get the same question, which you're usually going to get the same like 10 questions or whatever that you get. Usually it's around 10. Let's say these 10 questions that you get have the same exact email response template. Now, we definitely don't want to always just have a template. We want to customize that, but the answer should always be the same. And after you do that 5, 10, 15 times, you're going to see, because of consistency, whether that is what works or it is what doesn't work. And then you can make changes, adjustments, and that's how you grow and get better and improve and close more sales over time, because you're able to see what works and what doesn't. I'm telling you, most people, what they do is they just kind of think on the spot of an answer and see if it works. And like, there's no consistency there. So there's no way to ever like judge and see what works. And you're never going to have consistent sales. You're always going to be all over the place. So that's an example. Another thing is scripts. Like, so if you're on the phone, having scripts and things that you say every single time to see what works. And then you can make adjustments to make them better and better and better and better. Now, when it comes to emails and templates and scripts and these type of things, I would say 100% to keep it simple. Keep them as simple as possible. I've seen some where they're so intense, there's so much wording that it's like crazy, that there's no possible way that you're going to sound natural, that you're going to sound real. You're going to literally be like a robot, and that's not what we want. So to go beyond the scripts, the templates, all of these things, one thing that I think is really, really important is understanding the answers to the questions that you get, the responses to the objections that you get. It's not just about the templates and the scripts, but it's about understanding the concepts behind the answers that are going to allow you to respond quickly. So here's what I mean by that. So when a lot of people first start at a company, they get the scripts, they get the templates, but they don't understand the concepts of why the answer is the way they are. So someone will give you a variation of a question, and you respond with the template, and it doesn't really make sense. And the reason being is because you don't understand the concept behind the objection and overcoming that. The concept of answering that email, the concept of answering that question. So having the concepts understood is going to make you so much better. That's why when people are starting out, it takes them much longer, because they focus on memorizing things instead of understanding the concepts. So I would highly, highly recommend understanding the concepts, and not just memorizing everything. And you'll just be a robot, and that's just not obviously what we want. So, and like when I say concepts, like it's more about understanding the clients that you have, the issues that they have, and how you can resolve those issues. That's what I mean by concepts. Like if you always have in mind what their biggest challenges are, then you can understand the concept of why you're sharing this response, whether that's an email or the phone, because you understand what they're going through. You understand their problem, and you have the solution to solve that for you. So, excuse me. All right, so where do we keep all this? Because that's one of the hardest things. Is it in Google Drive? Is it in our notes? Is it in a suite process? Is like, where do we keep this stuff so that we're organized, so we know exactly where to go when we need to go there? And some people I know, for example, are on the road when they're doing this, or they're, at home, they're on Zoom calls, they're, all the, different places. So what I would suggest is find one platform, literally just one platform that you can go to in all those places. Maybe it's the notes on your phone that you have on your computer as well, or Google Doc, or you can use something called, what's it called? I used to use this. It's called Suite Process. So suiteprocess.com is a place that I used to keep this type of stuff. And then over time, you can create your own website, your own platform, your own, like right now, we have a website. We have an internal website that we go to. You type in a password and you have everything there, literally all the templates, all the scripts, all the documents, the files, everything that anyone on my team would need is in one place. So that's a piece of advice there, is have everything in one place. Do not have certain things in Notes, certain things in Todoist, an app. Don't have certain things in Google Drive. Don't have certain things in emails. You're never going to create consistency because you're never going to know where to look. So have one place that you go to that you can find everything that you need for your sales process, or for anything that you're trying to do to be consistent in. One place that has everything, so you don't miss a beat. You don't miss the right thing to say, and you can stay consistent in closing your sales. I'm telling you, like, so many people don't have processes and they close sales. They do, but it's always one-off. It's like a one-off thing here, and they're not sure why. And then there's a one-off 2 weeks later and a one-off. No. Like, you need to be consistent every single day. And that's really what this is about, is like, how can you do it every single day? And the only way to legitimately do it every single day is to have the processes and systems in place and you use the same things every single day so that you can get the same results every single time. And then if you're not getting the results that you want, you know why. You say, hey, every time they ask this, I'm not moving towards a sale, and you can make adjustments in that one area. Like, that's legitimately it. So let me just see here. What's up? Madeline? What's up, Emily? Unica, good morning. Toya. Excel. Okay, Excel's a great place. Google Docs, great place. What's up, Toya, Madeline? Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, everybody's like, oh, I don't have this perfect platform or this perfect thing, so, I'm just not going to do it. And like I said in the very beginning, I don't know who was here or who wasn't, but like, a really good analogy to this is like the difference of brushing your teeth. I love this one. Brushing your teeth for like 2 hours versus brushing your teeth for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever every single day. You're going to get much better results if you do it every single day. Same thing with working out. People are like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym for 3 hours. And then they don't go for a week. You're not going to get the same results. You're going to tear your body down in those 3 hours, and you're not going to get the results. So it's literally the same exact thing. And it's about doing it every single day. So post your questions in the comments if you have any. That is kind of my little, I guess you would call it a monologue. I don't know. But then I would get to some questions. Let's see. Thanks, Emily. Yeah, I mean, it's so true, right? Like, okay, so I don't see any questions. Yesterday, I know some of you, I commented yesterday that I wasn't going to have a live. Something came up. This launch of the gym has been a lot of fun. So I'm going to do my absolute best to be here every single day as long as I'm still on this maternity leave. And then if I'm not on, you'll know why. So let's see. I like that. I'm going to use that. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's so many tools out there. A great starter tool, and I think I've said this in another video, to keep everything in one place. a sweet process. I think I'm not an affiliate or anything, so I'm not selling that program, but I think it's somewhere around like $39 a month. But like to have everything organized and consistent is really key. I'll give you one more example here before we end. There was a company that I spoke at that's doing about $16 million a week and a month. Yeah, $16 million a month. And they literally have no consistency. Like one person's doing this, one person's doing this. I'm like, how do you know what works and how do you know what doesn't work? And that's a huge issue. Like, how do you not know? Can you imagine if that organization had consistency, had the scripts, had all that stuff in place, and they knew like their top people were doing this and they were doing it consistently and they knew it worked, then they can pass that down to everybody else who wasn't doing as well and bring them up to the next level. So cool. So let's see. We got a couple. Emily, this is really my next step in my business that I need to complete. Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah. I mean, it's putting together systems. Like, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, Emily, putting together systems in a business takes literally, to have the internal platform that I have has taken almost 5 years. And I just want to put expectations that to give yourself 2 years to legitimately do it. And yesterday, so for this live video, I've been basically taking it, making a thumbnail, posting it on YouTube, Facebook, then putting it in YouTube, and then posting on LinkedIn. That is a system. That is a process. So what I did is for 2 days, I literally went through every single step. Click this button, change in the thumbnail this, do that. And then I mapped the whole thing out. So now I can pass it to one of my teammates who's going to help with those so that I can focus on other aspects of the business. And that's really, at the end of the day, what all of these systems do. They create consistency and they allow you to build a team and put other people in place to help with those. So might be off topic. How do you deal with customers that are getting frustrated at you when you don't have the answer right away? Okay, so I think I would want some more context to this, but I think not knowing the answer, and this is what I tell my team every single time. So if they don't know the answer to the question, that is 100% okay. And what I found is that if someone asks me a question and I don't know the answer to it, I'm going to straight up tell them I do not know the answer to that question. And the reason I do that is because I think that actually builds, number one, it builds trust. It's honest. And just because I don't know the answer to that question right then and there doesn't mean I'm not going to do everything in my power to get that answer to them and get it right back to them. That builds trust too. So let's say it takes me a day to get back to them, but I get back to them with that answer. Now, first of all, I was honest, which we should always be. Second of all, I did the work to find them the answer. And third of all, I delivered them the correct answer instead of trying to just make it up on the spot. Like, we can't be an expert and perfect at everything. We just can't. And that's like, we're human beings and people will respect you if you're honest and you say, hey, you know what? I don't know the answer, but that is a really good question. I'm going to do everything in my power to get that answer and I will get right back to you. So a couple things, trust up front. And then also you can reply back to them by saying, as promised, here is what I found. Here is the answer to the question. And now you're also fulfilling promises, and that goes a long way over time as well. So to kind of dive into that a little bit more, Madeline, I think another thing is when we're talking about consistency, you're really going to have like 5 to 10 questions that you're always going to get and that we should get amazing at. We should know the concepts. We should understand them. We should get the objections and how to answer and how to respond and all those things. Super critical, super important. But there are always going to be questions that we just are so accustomed to this one individual or to this one client that we can't know everything. And if they're getting frustrated because of that, there's nothing you can do besides be honest, fulfill your promises, and get back to them. And I really, truly believe that. So thanks, Al. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Great idea. That is my goal, to have a foundation for my team and grow up. Exactly, Emily. You got it. Unica. I know it was totally off topic, but I've had customers that get so frustrated if I don't know something and I freeze. Yeah, so Madeline, don't freeze. Don't freeze. Just be like, hey, you know, that's a really good question. And in all transparency, I don't have the answer to that question right now, but I will definitely get back to you within 24 hours with that answer. Now it's like, whoa, okay, like you're not trying to make something up off the spot. You're being honest, you're being transparent, and then you fulfill that promise by responding back to them via email or call and just say, as promised. That's important. You say, as promised, here's the answer to your question. I'm telling you, you're going to have so much respect. And if they're getting frustrated because you don't know everything, that's just ridiculous. And I don't know. I mean, I think if you do it that way, you're going to be fine. Yeah, exactly, Al. I agree 100%. I mean, you just can't we're humans. Like, you can't know everything. But, and don't, like, I know so many people that just try to be this, like, they try to be somebody they're not. They try to be this perfect guru expert, and they're just not. You can't know everything, but you can know the people that do, right? And that's why having mentors is so important and all that stuff. We talk about that a lot. So, so sometimes a second phase. So that's like they call that turning over. Yeah, it's called a TO, turning over. Exactly. Which is also really cool. So like Madeline, if you have a team, one thing you could say is like, hey, I don't have the answer, but that's why I have a team. So let me introduce you to XYZ. And then when you bring that person over, it's really important. The introduction is really good. Say, hey, you bring the new person over and you say, hey, and you make an introduction, and then you make sure you explain their whole question for them so they don't have to do it again. Think about like when you're on a call with like, Cox or like the internet company, or I was just on that and it was really frustrating. So that's why I'm using that as an example. And they're just like, okay, I'm going to transfer you to somebody, and they just transfer you, and you have to explain the whole thing over again. So if you do a TO, if you do that, then make sure you explain the whole situation. Thanks, James. I appreciate it, man. I had a great time at Reveal. I know there's a lot of people on here from Reveal, which is great. You guys are amazing. You're hard working. You're driven. You're goal oriented. It was one of my favorite conventions to speak at. So, awesome, Emily. I'm glad to hear that they're keeping you grounded. Of course, I'm more than happy to do it. This has been fun. What I would say is this: I have literally a list of topics that I'm covering, but if you have questions, DM me your questions, and I'll use those as well. I know Al. So Al right here just responded. Al is he's actually close to where I am. He's an amazing guy. I know he's been in sales for a really long time. He's really good at what he does. So I appreciate you saying that, Al. And if you have any input, feel free to always share in the comments. And Al, if you have things that have happened to you that that everybody here who watches, who's on board, can benefit from, definitely send me DMs with those, and I'll use those too. Yes, empathize with them, critical. So, Kathy, I've talked about this model before. There's a model out there called there's a lot of them, value based, and they have MEDIC is one, SPIN is one. That's my favorite. But it's systemizing your process, how you handle conversations. So if you want to check out SPIN selling, it's my favorite, or MEDIC selling, or value-based selling, you can go through literally and create consistency. And maybe that will be the next one, is how to find and use a sales process that's out there. But like empathize, understanding, all of those things are super, super important. So you got it. Thank you. I'll sure to message you. Okay. So that's all that I have today. I don't see any additional questions. Love all the comments. I love what we've got going on here. I think we've got a really solid group, and we're getting a lot done. And so the more you comment and DM, the more I can learn from you as well. Because like I've said in this video, I am 100% on the journey. Yes, I've built a pretty cool speaking business and a fitness center and all these different things, but I am always on the journey, and I'm always looking to learn, so I can share what I know, but I can learn from you as well. Turn up the volume, spin selling. What else? So there's a couple things we talked about. Emily, spin selling was one of them. MEDIC is another one. Value-based selling. There's a lot of them out there. Those are what I would think are the top 3 of the top 10 maybe. But you can also do more. I share and go live and still can't get people to come to my live. Is there something I can do more? Jacqueline, so really good question. And I'm going to get to this one and then I'm going to end live. But this is a really good question because like this is the first time I've ever done a live series. And I think, Jacqueline, one thing that I've noticed, this is just from my experience, and I don't have 150,000 followers on Facebook. I just don't. It's not something I've focused on in the past. But obviously having more followers is really important. But one thing I've noticed is is before I post a live, the title that I put in that live itself, I literally have noticed that the more catchy that title is, the more live people that I have. And then the more comments I can get, or the more comments people leave, it obviously builds it up and builds it up from there. So there's a couple things. One is having a really catchy title, and 2 is providing really good content. If you're just starting out a Facebook page, one thing that you can do is you can bring all of your personal friends and invite them to like it first so that you start building some sort of people who can watch your videos. Have a good title, provide really, really good content. And then if you have the budget and the funding, is to boost those posts to titles of people using their business title, for example, of people who would be interested in the topic that you're talking about. I have not done that yet, but I know that's an option out there and something that really works. So that's something that can do. And Jacqueline, I think there's also a lot of people on this video itself that literally do a lot of lives, especially if there's a lot of reveal peeps. So I would encourage all of the other reveal people on here to give additional advice there because it's something that I am truly learning. So cool. So hope that all helps. And I will see you all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time.